We are back to working on house timbers, and in particular what we're going to do today, we're going to make some timber trusses for the peak of the roof. There's nothing cooler than nice big beefy timber trusses, you know. I mean, I'm not talking those trusses made out of 2x4s with the little metal gusset plates that look like junk, you know. I mean, they're fine if nobody's ever going to see them, but these are going to be exposed, so these are going to be some nice big beefy timber trusses. They're pretty great. Recap, in case you haven't been following along on this whole story, this is building the dream one tree at a time. What we're doing is we're building our dream house out here in the woods from trees that we cut from our own land. Milled them up on our Woodland Mills sawmill and cut them up into timbers, cut the joinery, and we are putting together the frame. Here, let me show you. That's what we got so far of the house. We've already done this barn structure. So now we are up to the roof of the house working on trusses. So we're going to build some really sweet trusses today. Show you what we got. Got a bunch of timbers cut, ready to go. Starting to make our marks over here on this one. What we're going to do is we're going to make plywood templates for the more complicated cuts. And then we'll just trace them on each piece. Here's one template I started to make. Let's finish cutting it out. There we go. That's what the top of the king post is going to look like, sort of, where the two top cords meet. We're going to use this to trace onto all the king posts, and then we'll cut them out. All right, so first part of this timber truss I'm going to show you is the king post. That part goes up like this. Got the king post, then you got top cords, and then you got the bottom cords, which are going to cross them like that. It's a scissor truss. Okay, king post is that post in the middle. So got these timbers are 6x6. First thing we went ahead and did. Now here's what it's going to look like. That top is going to look like, at least when it's done. So these cuts here, we use my buddy Dan's trick. Dan with Two Guys Timber Framing. We just went ahead and made these cuts with the sawmill. Right after we milled these, we just went ahead and cut in while they were on the mill. Didn't take us any extra time. So we have these cuts ready to go. And then we're going to measure off of these cuts to figure out where our template is going to sit. And then we can trace the rest of the top of this thing and cut it out. All right. Now, the template. Okay, so we have a slight discrepancy. This turned out slightly too narrow. So what that means is we got to find the center line, and we got to match the center on the center so he sits symmetrical. There's our center. Now we can align this properly. So I gotta extend that line down a little bit more. You just go off of one edge and you got any kind of discrepancy, you're gonna mess yourself up. Go off the center, always off the center. how it looks. Flip it over, same thing on the other side. Start by finding our center. About 1/8 of an inch off. Not the worst thing in the world. This is rough timber framing, you know. If this was trim carpentry, that'd be a major crime, but it is just rough timber framing. A little bit higher tolerances there. Especially since I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm going for the rustic look. There we go. That easy. Now, this piece in the middle that's got to come out. How do we get rid of that? Well, like this. First, we drill a big hole through it. Yeah, like that. Oh, but wait. Almost forgot. We gotta extend these cuts at an angle. The angle of the saw is actually going to give us approximately the angle we need, and then we'll chisel out the rest. Alright, now, got a big hole drilled through there. Take my friend the Sawzall and release it. Don't want to go too far. There it goes. See how easy that sawmill trick made it? Telling you, Dan's the man. Now, wait, one more thing. These angle cuts that our rafters are going to sit on, let's cut them first. Now, the shape of the top. There we go. All right. Now, take this puppy again. Finish off the cut. That's that little shelf that the top cord of the truss is going to sit on. All right. There you go. Now, last thing to do, this part here, on either side, you need to cut it at an angle, sloping up, following this same slope, coming up to meet in the middle, kind of mimicking what we got at the top, right here, and here, for that tenon from the top cords to sit in. That we're going to do with the chisel. Alright, next thing I did is I marked right here where the bottom cords of the truss are going to crisscross over this thing. Boom, boom, one on one side, one on the other. So we're going to cut this way going that way, this way on this side, that way on the other side. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna kerf these cuts. That means making a whole bunch of cuts with the circular saw and then knock it all out and chisel it flat. So here we go. There's one. And the other side. There we go. Then we turn them over to Dylan over there. He's chiseling them out for us. Good work, Dylan. There you go. See, Dylan did a great job cleaning out those cuts. Beautiful. One thing I like about how we're doing these is it's pretty much all done. Thanks to my buddy Dan's sawmill trick for this part here. We don't need to use that gigantic mega circular saw for any of this. This is all done after the sawmill. Once it leaves the sawmill, it's all done with hand tools and battery power tools. So no need to kick on the generator for any of this. We don't have any permanent power here yet, so any large equipment always got to be running off that generator. Here, no mega circ, no chain mortiser, just battery handsaw, drill, sawzall, and then the hand tools. Pretty great. Alright, we're back working on these trusses, and weather got a little chilly all of a sudden. Kind of weird. But here's what we got done. We got all these king posts, well, mostly done. The boys still have some work to do, as you can see, but how do you like that? Yeah, that's about my 10-year-old. Not bad, huh? And then Jack cleaned up the tops. Right there, boom. Beautiful. So these king posts are mostly done. There we go. Beard needed a little trim, so, you know. Important to keep your pencils nice and sharp, too. Mark precise lines, you know. It's good. Alright, there's one more thing we're going to do to these king posts before we call them done. We're going to chamfer these bottom edges, and we're going to cut like a V-notch through this part. Kind of dress it up a little bit. So, made myself a little gauge. We're cutting this with a circular saw, little jig. It's always worth it to make a jig, whether templates, jigs, gauges. The 5 minutes you spend making yourself some simple, stupid little thing like this, it's worth it. Because now I don't have to be all careful about my cut. I just slap it up on there and cut against the guide, and that's it. Just like that, pretty easy cut. And then this side, yeah, this way. This way it's going to sit like that. There's that. And then off the end. And do that to all 4 sides. It's going to look pretty cool. After a little cleanup up with the black plane and the slick, I think these king posts are gonna look pretty good. What do you think? Now I gotta make 10 of these puppies. Our next pieces are posts for each end. I'm not gonna bore you with showing you how I've cut that, but I will tell you real quick. Here, we cut this a la Dan from two guys, again, on the sawmill. We made these cuts, and then that allowed us to do pretty much the whole rest of it with just a regular circular saw and clean it up with chisel and slick. So it's one of these pieces for each end of each truss. That's the next bit. Then the top cords. I'll show you that in a second. So here's our material for our top cords of the trusses, basically rafters. I've already cut some of them, as you can see. Cut the basic outline. Gonna have to do some tenon cutting after the fact, but let's get the rest of these cut and then we'll cut tenons. So I got these top cords cut out. I did use the Mega Circ saw on these and mortised out this mortise with the chain mortiser. But the rest, cutting these tenons out on this side, one on the other side there. Oops. Those I'm going to use the circ saw and hand tools to get those knocked out. Here's what it's going to look like. There's our top cords. Now I just got to do that about 19 more times. All right, last bit of the truss we got to make, the bottom cords. So this is a scissor truss, so it's going to look a little something like this. We got top cords, which we just made. Oh, don't worry, I cut them better than I draw them. We got end posts that they're sitting on. We got a king post right here. And then we got these cross members. They're gonna sit like that. So that's our king post. First bit we did. We got those end posts here that they're gonna sit on. We got the top cords that we just did. Next ones are these bottom cords that cross in the middle. That's what that funny joint was all about in the king post. This is going to go on one side of it. That's going to go on the other side. They're going to cross in the middle. That is a funky connection. Got to make all those cuts just right so it fits together. And then they're going to be mortise and tenon joint into the top cords here and there. Same with on the ends, just like the top cord on those little end posts. And then we punch it full of holes and throw some pegs in there and hope it holds. Dang right, it's gonna hold. This thing's gonna stand for hundreds of years probably. All right. So like I had said, this bottom cord is a relatively complex piece. So like I always say to do, I made a template. Got all the markings on it, everything. So we're just going to be tracing this onto these guys and cutting them out. Here we go. All right, there we are, guys. Here's our bottom cord. See this funky shape here in the middle where it's going to meet with both the king post and the other one of these. We got a tenon on that end, we got a tenon over there. Build a few more of these and then we can start putting them together. All right, this is it. Moment of truth. We're going to find out if my design works okay and if these parts fit together. So let's see, here we go. give these parts a little bit of a sanding, just a quick rough sand down, make them look pretty for the camera, you know. Get our king post in here. All right, that fit. Got over this way. Hey, that's nice. So far, most complicated joint fit together just fine. So we're looking good so far. Get these top cords on. Now it gets a little more difficult. Joint here seems a little bit tight, but I think it's because we had a little bit of twisting on this timber here. But this is going to twist it back. Almost there, guys. Almost there. We're close. So close. Looks pretty cool though. Let's get the end posts on. Doesn't count unless all the parts fit together. This would probably be a lot easier if I had somebody else helping me. But it's just me today, so I'm gonna do what I can. I'd say that's not so bad. We're gonna maybe put some ratchet straps on it to really tighten it up. But overall, I think that ain't too bad at all. Strap it nice and tight, get it drilled and pegged, and we'll be in business. Yeah. All right, we got this puppy strapped up nice and tight. Joints are pretty good. They're not perfect, but I don't know, man. They're not too bad. Not too bad at all, I think. So, We're gonna go ahead and drill and peg this baby. There it is, people. There's my beefy timber scissor truss. Is it perfect? Nah, no, not really. That's okay. It's rustic. I said before, I'm going for the rustic look. And I don't know, man. I think it's pretty cool. Just got to build about 9 more of these things. Get them over to my daughter for staining. She's my stainer extraordinaire. She's stained about 80% of all the timbers up on the house right now. So yeah, get this thing stained and then raise them into place. And I'll be sure to check in with y'all when I do that so you can watch. I hope you like seeing that process. I sure enjoyed putting this thing together. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate your support. Now I'm gonna get back to it. I got a bunch more of these things to build, so I'm gonna do that. I'll catch y'all in the next one. God bless.